inside. It's a journey into self, and I have all the tools necessary to find the happy laugh within myself, to find the dreamer of the dream, to find the one within myself. Why? Because the deeper I go down into myself, the more I'm connecting out with the whole world. Okay? The deeper I go into myself, I'm connecting out in the whole world. And the deeper I plunge into myself to reach out and touch the world, I can touch that place where I said, let's get out of here. Let's blow this popcorn stand called heaven. Right? Let's escape God. He's going to kill me. And I can go into that. It's still there. And then I have the ability within myself then, with the partnership of the Holy Spirit, to say, hey, where's the proof?
Right.
No, and all the proofs fall away. All the wars, all the tyrants, all the murders, all the bombs.
Yeah.
It all goes away. I know that you're going, oh, man, that's absolutely delusional. You can't talk about it until you get there, because it's a way of seeing the world.
Today's reading is from chapter 27, The Healing of the Dream, and we're reading from section 8, The Hero of the Dream. The body is the central figure in the dreaming of the world. There is no dream without it, nor does it exist without the dream in which it acts as if it were a person to be seen and be believed. It takes the central place in every dream, which tells the story of how it was made by other bodies, born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies, to be united in the dust with other bodies dying like itself. In the brief time allotted it to live, it seeks for other bodies as its friends and enemies. Its safety is its main concern. Its comfort is its guiding rule. It tries to look for pleasure and avoid the things that would be hurtful. Above all, it tries to teach itself its pains and joys are different and can be told apart.
It should be fairly obvious that I, or you watching, or you, are the hero of a dream.
Yes.
You're not the dreamer.
I'm the hero in the dream.
You're the hero in the dream.
Yeah. The dreamer is... You recognize that you're the dreamer when you awaken.
Yeah, well, we got to get to that later. But for now...
Otherwise, we believe that we're the hero in the dream.
And the hero is, according to this, anchored solidly to the body. You know, in fact, the relationship here that's describing is that the body is at cause and that my experience is an effect. You know, in other words... I got cancer and died. You know, the body was the cause of my death. It was the cause of the dramas that I experienced.
Yeah.
So that's what it's saying here, is that the purpose of having this hero, isolated packet of flesh, is so that that hero can be identified as an effect of the causal relationships it has body to body or thing to thing. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm saying as clear as I can, but it might sound too complicated.
Right. The main thing, as I think of it, is that, interestingly enough, with artificial intelligence and virtual reality, we've been trying to create another layer where we can experience ourselves as something that we are not in a virtual world. It looks like we've already done it.
Right, but what are we trying to achieve by virtual reality, by AI? What are we trying to achieve?
It's really, we're trying to achieve actually experiencing, ironically, almost the same, like that you can experience sensations and everything else the same as we do here. I mean, that's, to me, that was the point, was that, you know, sometimes they show people like with sensory stuff on them and everything else, so that when their hands move, it moves in the virtual reality, or they experience sensations. Interestingly enough, they would love for it that you could, in your virtual reality, you could smell, you can touch, you can taste.
But I mean, it seems to me that the simple process at work is to try to achieve a level of causality in the body. In other words, if I have a virtual game or if I'm in the metaverse, I can choose bodies, I can choose outfits, I can choose menus, and that makes me at cause over the things that thing experiences.
Right.
So suddenly, me, who is the hero of another dream, in other words, I'm not really the dreamer. We're going to cover that.
Yeah.
I'm the hero of a dream, and I'm anchored to a body. And so there's a feeling of helplessness there, right? Because I feel like the weather can ruin me. Anything, a stiff wind can knock me over. So I'm at no cause at all. I'm totally at effect in this world. So to give the addictive feeling of being at cause, I play games.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And that makes me, that way I can see how then I can work the skill set from the level of being in my day I was playing, I don't know what, Space Invaders or Pac-Man or something like that.
Yeah, nothing like today.
And but you get better and better and better at being the cause of the effects you're seeing until you become a winner, a real winner. And so even though Pac-Man just ate all of the different things, or Space Invaders, I'm on level 12 or whatever it is, whatever those things are, I end up with proofs that the dreamer of that dream is improving and getting better and becoming a master over that dream. So I have that, so that I think that there's a level of trying to steal dreamer status in a way.
Yeah.
Steal dreamer status.
It's just interesting that we want to create one more level of forgetfulness in a way.
Yeah.
When we're already in a state of forgetfulness already, not realizing that we are the dreamer of the dream, which we covered in the prior chapter. I mean, not the prior chapter, but the prior section.
Well, okay. We have the body. Now the thing is about the body in this, because we've discussed that before. In a way, I'd say this paragraph, this section, is a deep exploration on who am I really, and what are my powers really, and where am I from really. Not the assumed thing of whatever
biology and ancestry you came from.
Right. Well, that kind of stuff,
which is what we normally think of, like where I came from.
But even my metaphysical answers of I am God, I am not different than God, or whatever metaphysical or religious, spiritual kind of achievements I have within myself of being some sort of getting closer to cause, getting closer. The Course kind of puts all that to rest. The dreaming of the world takes many forms, because the body seeks in many ways to prove it is autonomous and real. It puts things on itself that it is bought with little metal discs or paper strips the world proclaims as valuable and real. It works to get them, doing senseless things, and tosses them away for senseless things it does not need and does not even want. It hires other bodies that they may protect it and collect more senseless things that it can call its own. It looks about for special bodies that can share its dream. Sometimes it dreams it is a conqueror of bodies weaker than itself, but in some phases of the dream, it is the slave of bodies that would hurt and torture it. That's what I want to, maybe I'm preaching to myself, but don't miss the opportunity to understand the ambiguity, or to appreciate some of the ambiguity about who's dreaming who. Who is dreaming who, and how is that happening? Joanna, I am not dreaming you, okay? Now, Ken Wapnick can say, you're here because I dreamed you. That's nice.
But it's the other, it's the one that I'm not identified with.
I don't have the
dreaming.
experience of dreaming you.
Right, it's the sonship.
Any more than a figure in a dream has the experience of dreaming those characters.
Right.
So in a dream, you say, well, I was in a dream and I had this dream and I was doing this and I was doing that. No, you weren't. You created an avatar of some sort, as they use the term now, an icon this thing that they're calling the hero. You created a hero for your nighttime dream and sent it on these adventures for some reason. But that figure in the dream isn't dreaming squat. That figure is an invention.
That's a good example.
That figure that you've invented in the dream.
No, the person in the bed lying down
it's
is
the person
dreaming.
in the bed. And then begs the question, how come I can't dream now? If I'm such a great dreamer, how come I can't come up with these dreams? How come I can come up with such elaborate, wonderful plots at night and then claim ownership of the dream?
And you know that you're the cause.
But I can't do it. I mean, it's not like I can turn on the dream thing.
Right, yeah.
So what do you think?
Well, that shows that it's, in a way, it's more complex or it's more simple. I'm not really sure, but it's different than I think, because there is a confusion of the fact that everything that I see is a reflection of my projected thoughts. But what you're saying is that who's the thinker? You know, who originated with the thinking of the thought, that the mad idea that I could separate from the one and all? You know, who is that? Because that's the real dreamer of the dream. It's not me, although the rules within this dream is that what I project in my thought system will also reflect back to a certain extent.
You got to be careful of these levels, boy. You got to be careful of the levels, because the simple reality is the implication of the fact that I cannot dream a dream right now. In other words, I don't have that ability. I may be able to drink a cup of tea. I may be able to make a cup of tea and drink it. I can do that. I can't dream a dream. You know, not on demand. I have to go to sleep. And then what happens? This self that you know of as Phil or whatever, he checks out. He's not there. So something left over dreams that dream. It's not me.
Right.
So we're starting to understand that anything that I accomplish here, whether it's to become an architect or to design a nice building or to get married or to have children or to have failures or successes, to be the hero, I didn't do that stuff. I co-opt it. I take it. I take it over as though I did it. I did that. I should have done that other thing. And we tell ourselves that story to either punish or reward us, not noticing that I have no more ability to manifest my role as a student of architecture or a builder of buildings. I have no more individual ability to do that. In other words, put me on a desert island. Can I be an architect? Well, no, only in a delusional sense. Can I build a building? Well, only in terms of piling coconuts.
I would say that somehow our thought system, our personal thought system, has something to do with the dreamer, but I don't really understand it.
There's definitely a relationship, or we wouldn't have A Course in Miracles.
Right, exactly.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that many people have crashed and burned on A Course in Miracles because...
Finish the thought about the dream and the dream before you go into too much detail.
Okay, finish the thought about what? Who's dreaming what and how and why?
Yeah.
There's a dreamer somewhere. I'm just going to stay it this way.
Yeah.
We don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. I don't even know who the dreamer is when I wake up in the morning after a real dream, after one of those nighttime dreams. I don't really know who the dreamer is. I don't know where that material's coming from.
Right.
You know, I wasn't thinking about centaurs, and for some reason I had 12 of them in the dream, kind of a thing. Yeah. So where did that come from? You know, and Carl Jung has his answers of the collective unconscious and all that kind of stuff. But let's just say we don't really know the central player, the central dreamer of the dream of nighttime dreams. And in the same way, I don't know who's dreaming this right now. Now, the reason this is really, really important to be clear on, and not to just run with what Kenneth Wapnick says, which is, you did it. It's your dream. You're here because I invented you. You got to be clear about that dangerous realm, because you won't get a miracle. There won't be any miracles as long as I think that I can do something with the miracle. Because the miracle is breaking through the film that separates me
veil of
from the
it.
dreamer.
Yes, it is.
That's what the miracle even is. And so as long as I am deluded into thinking that I'm somehow generating this world around me, as a sense of the isolated ego has the ability to generate anything.
Right, which is when, through all the New Age stuff, I don't know how many people did this or whatever, but people had dream boards, and they would say, if I could just keep my mind on the new house, the new relationship, that in what they look like and everything else, that it will manifest in my life. There was a lot of people trying to manifest their daily, comeuppance almost. And I would say, I don't know who did or didn't, but most of us failed, to create those kinds of things,
Well, it's usually an exercise in what do they call it, rationalization. Yeah, I guess look at me. I manifested a job in Home Depot's garden department. I wanted a great job, and look at me. I manifested a gardener job, and I'm surrounded by plants and the smell of insecticide. A long commute, even though I wanted it close to home. We rationalize
Right.
that the dreamer that is me is getting better and better at playing the game.
Right. Yeah.
And the same problem is it's the same problem with saving the world.
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
explain that.
if I become, I've been harping on it because there's a lot of it around, activism, about I will take actions to make this a better world. That's a level of delusional thinking, not paying attention to the way it has always functioned in terms of who really is in power and how did they really get in that power and what are those cycles of power and abuse. What are those cycles and what do they look like? And has the individual person ever had anything to do with it? Mm-hmm. No, but we do elevate a hero in our dream. We elevate a Martin Luther King, a Gandhi, a John F. Kennedy, an Abraham Lincoln. We elevate heroes in the dream. Harriet Tubman or whoever. Let's get some women in there.
Right.
Martha Washington. But anyway, we elevate these heroes in the dream to prove to us that you can achieve mastery and for that body with its abilities can become at cause over a world of apparent effects.
Right.
When really what you end up, that's a dream, that's a fantasy, because it doesn't happen that way. The actual experience is always that the cold took me out, I was out for 3 weeks with the flu. Mm-hmm. I didn't do that.
Yeah, I know. It's so many things. I say, I didn't do that. The car that hit me coming the other way,
Right.
I didn't do that.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Exactly.
But we're still just in paragraph 1 and 2. We're still just explaining our experience.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go on. Paragraph 3. The body's serial adventures from the time of birth to dying are the theme of every dream the world has ever had. The hero of this dream will never change, nor will its purpose. Though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety of places and events wherein its hero finds itself, the dream has but one purpose, taught in many ways. This single lesson does it try to teach again and still again and yet once more, and that is cause and not effect. And you are its effect and cannot be its cause.
So that's what it's trying to teach us, is that the hero is the cause and not an effect. And that hero is anchored to a body. Mm-hmm. So we have a strong sense of an identity of what I am.
Right.
And the body is the vehicle of that I amness. The body is the vehicle. And that the whole purpose of the dream is to prove that that is a cause and not an effect.
Right. I realize I'm having a little bit of confusion about how we described it in the last session because, it said you are the dreamer of the dream, and it emphasized it really importantly that you are the dreamer of the dream. And I know that when we were talking about it before, I was thinking about I'm the dreamer of the dream.
Right.
And so
You made it up.
Yeah, I made it up. And the thing of it is, as I said before, I don't know how the interaction of the thought system of the apparent hero of the dream, which is not the actual dreamer, which you pointed out, has an effect on what I see and what I experience here. All I know is that for the holy instant, it is to let go of the thought system that I currently have on as judgments and things like that, to allow for the Holy Spirit to reinterpret something, particularly an upset that is causing me to lose my peace. So I do have a role as a hero within the dream, so that the real dreamer of the dream, I don't understand it, I guess. All of a sudden I realize, as you gave me this as a new thought, I always thought that Joanne,
You're dreaming it.
I am the dreamer of the dream. And so my part is I dream you, and I dream the cat, and I dream my family, and I dream my jobs, and I made it up. I made up my own story. But you're saying that the real dreamer is the Son of God who had the mad idea that thought he could be separate from the beginning.
Part of my point is I'm trying to operate sort of inductively, is to locate the dreamer of the dream. Because inductively, I feel myself invested in my nighttime dream. I'm afraid when I'm going to get hit by something. I'm afraid when the steering wheel falls off in my hands, or I go off the cliff or whatever. I'm afraid, or I'm disturbed, or I can even be disturbed when I wake up in the morning. But I'm definitely feeling the effects of that, not as a causal entity. Even though I feel like I'm doing it in the dream, I'm not really doing it anywhere. I end up getting the effects of that. Now, so working backwards from that, no figure in a dream it's true that I have a dream ego, and so I'm saying I within the dream. That's true. But I am on a level playing field with all the other characters in the dream. They are as effective at manufacturing a dream as that dream figure. In other words, they're equal. Long story short, you and me, we're both part of a dream. You and I are not dreaming anything. I'm not dreaming you. You're not dreaming me. In the terms of us sitting here feeling like separate beings, okay?
Okay.
I know that violates what Kenneth Wapnick says over and over again about you did it, you know? But we have to understand that agency. It's beyond important. It's the whole thing, to understand where is the agency coming from, because I can't snap my fingers and come up with miracles or an awareness of the holy instant. I can't snap my fingers and come over $1 million. I can't snap my fingers and cure an illness. If I were somehow some master hero within a dream that had true agency over the content of this, I would be able to do those things. I can't do it.
You would be God.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do it at night.
Yeah.
But and we discussed that. So what does it mean when people do exercise mastery over their dream, where they seem to be able to, manifest your reality, just through that focus thinking.
Right.
In a lot of ways, I think that you're practicing magic, we discuss how Satanism or Luciferianism or that kind of mastery over the physical universe, how that manifests.
It's a kind of a hack of the dream.
Yeah,
you're hacking.
You hack the dream material. You figure out, it's a little bit like being a lucid dreamer, because in that nighttime dream, you can become a lucid dreamer. You can trick your way into being a dream ego that has a certain amount of agency within that nighttime dream. And so I'd say that through magic or ritual, we can actually achieve some of that here. And that's the problem with some of the yogas, because if you go down to Southeast Asia and some guy runs a spike through his tongue and he runs it out again and he doesn't bleed and he doesn't suffer, or he runs it through his arm or whatever, you go, wow, that's really something. In other words, he has achieved a mastery within the dream that makes his own physical body look like it's that he can make that physical body bend to his will as that. And I'm not trying to really be clear as much as to say, don't be clearer than you can be about who's dreaming who and what that means. Don't be clearer. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, don't try to be sure of yourself about what that dreamer, who that.
Don't make assumptions about who's dreaming who.
Okay, so let's just go back through this. So through the dream itself, though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety of places and events wherein its hero finds itself, the dream has but one purpose, taught in many ways. This single lesson does it try to teach again and still again and yet once more that it is cause and not effect, and you are its effect and cannot be its cause. Okay, explain that last part. This single lesson does it try to teach again and still again and yet once more that it is cause, the dreamer is the cause and not the effect.
Okay.
Or is that right?
Okay.
Or is the body is the cause?
It means that the dream is at cause, I think. Though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety, etc., wherein its hero finds itself, the single lesson is once more that it is cause. That it is cause, the dream.
Okay.
That the dream is causal. In other words,
not the dreamer.
Right.
The dream is cause and not effect. And
the American Institute of Architects
okay.
determines whether I'm an architect or
Okay.
not. I don't determine that. You know, the laws of gravity determine whether I crack my skull when I fall or not. I don't determine
I just wanted to clarify whether the cause was the dream or the dreamer. Right. Okay, so it is the dream is the cause and not the effect, and you are its effect and cannot be its cause. So that is a false assumption there.
Right. So I'm, my whole life is as though I'm in a fun house, a house of horrors, let's say, or pleasures, however you live your life, and that I'm going through there and opening doors and falling through things and experiencing either victories or losses or shocks or happy surprises, and it's just one surprise after another. I myself tumbling through causal reality. This thing out here is causal reality, and this body-mind tumbles through it, trying to survive, trying to win, trying to be victorious. Make sense?
Yeah.
So here we have some answers. Paragraph 4, thus are you not the dreamer, but the dream. And so you wander idly in and out of places and events that it contrives. That this is all the body does is true, for it is but a figure in a dream. But who reacts to figures in a dream unless he sees them as if they were real? The instant that he sees them as they are, they have no more effects on him because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real.
See, so that's where I think that, I think that I am causing that and making them seem real.
We got a toggle switch here. That's how I feel, and it's also a little bit of the source of some of our, tete-a-tete, our conflicts on this, because and it says it in other places in the Course, just because I declare myself the grand master of my dream, don't make it so,
right?
Because I have no proof to that, unless I want to say, piano fell on me, I did that. The bank called the loan. I did that. And you can play that game for sure. It's a new age game. I declare it thus. If it happened to me, I wanted it. Okay, that's fine. But it's a luxurious game based on the fact of being a relative peace of mind, because there can be moments of panic, and I don't even want to get into that, of whether you can have enough control to go through horrible, terrible, events of victimization in a way that terrifies and rips you from everything you considered sanity or your moorings, and you go, hey, look at me, I did it. It's like, yeah, sure, okay, you can do that, but that's nuts, my friend. So it behooves us to not live in hell by understanding what that really means, that I did it. What does it mean that I'm doing it? I've got to understand
that you are the dreamer.
That I'm the dreamer. I've got to really.
What does it mean? Okay.
Because this Phil Hamilton sitting here, I was born. I don't remember choosing it. I'm going to die. I don't remember choosing it. I became this and that based on a lot of circumstances and not.
I know there's very specific things that there is no accidents, and everything that you thought was done to you, you did it. I mean, that you made it up. There's in the lessons and everything where we go.
You're saying in A Course in Miracles.
Yeah, in A Course in Miracles.
Yeah, that all of those things I named, I did it. Okay. It's extremely critical.
So who's the I?
No, it's right. It's critical that we know, because it says here, thus, in this scenario, and so far you can say paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, very common experience for all people living in this 3D world, right? Nothing new. Nothing new. It's all just, the money game, the agendas that we live by, the ups and downs. It's just describing that. Then it says, thus, you're not the dreamer, but the dream. The Course is telling me you are not the dreamer as that character.
Right.
See, the Course is saying that here. It's clarifying its earlier statement, saying that you dreamt it. We're on a quest to find out who's dreaming this thing.
Okay.
We went through this in, I think, chapter 11 or 12 or something like that. And I gave the analogy of a guy riding a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a shadow, and as he rides the bike, the shadow is riding over rocks and everything. That shadow is not a cause. That shadow is a figment of this guy's reality.
Right.
So, so my role as a shadow, not understanding who or what I am, not understanding what my agency actually is, what that might even mean to have agency as a figure in something that seems like it's dreaming me. It does seem like the world's dreaming you, doesn't it? Be honest.
Yeah.
What did you do? You didn't choose. Do you remember? Do you remember being born?
No.
No. Do you remember what your mom and dad were like or what they did? Or no, it gets recorded in your body like some sort of physical memory.
First 2-3 years, there's no real memories.
And then when you're 2-3 years old, did you choose to stagger around the living room, or did you choose to have Bob knocking you over all the time?
Yeah, no, I only know that because somebody told me. It's not in my memory banks. I mean, I can't access
So
that.
can't we put this to rest, that we're not really doing this thing in the usual sense that I did this and I did that? Like I remember cutting the grass, got the lawnmower out, cut the grass. I can take ownership of that, put the gas in the, But this stuff where it's saying you did that, it's a different kind of you did that. It's a different type, right? Yeah, it is. We got to go with that.
Okay.
We got to go with it. So it says, though, the one who reacts to figures in a dream unless he sees them as if they were real, the instant he sees them as they are, they have no more effects. So it's talking about bonding or touching the true agency, the true dreamer. We're trying to find...
Because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real.
Right.
I know. And so, it's a lowercase h because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real. Again, it seems as though, I'm the one who's doing it by the way the language is, the agency of I. And I know that you and I have these moments we do where I'm just like, he's trying to say, but what? And I was like, I know, but I'm seeing it differently than that, because in the Course it also says that we have to make decisions, and the only one who can make the decision is the quote hero in the dream, which is me, the made up particle. I have to decide for heaven. I have to decide for joy. I have to decide that my brother is not unlike myself, the true self. And those decisions allow for the truth to be reflected back, by making these decisions. So I guess
there's a Star Trek, if I could say this there's a Star Trek that keeps coming to mind. It's from the original Star Trek with, what's his name? Mr. Spock. What was his name? Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. In this episode, they land on a planet, and there are these strange events that happen. Things pop out from nowhere. Well, and they start to understand I'm somehow generating these things. So they gave it the level of illusion. They said, okay, these are illusions. And so now Dr. McCoy, who is a kind of a romantic at heart, he manifests a damsel in distress, and he's going to rescue this beautiful woman from this black knight. And the Black Knight says, on guard, and he starts charging at Dr. McCoy. Dr. McCoy is terrified out of his wits, and he just stands in front of this Black Knight and says, this is an illusion, this is an illusion, and the guy runs him right through the chest with a javelin, okay? That's what the illusion did. It just absolutely took him out. Now, so, different kind of illusion, And so they find out that what's happening in the planet is manifesting. It's a little bit like Solaris this way. The planet is reading their deepest desires and manifesting plays, dramas. Like in this case, it's the damsel in distress. He's the hero.
Right.
Dr. McCoy is the hero of the dream. And but he doesn't realize that his romantic nature is manifesting this. And so they have to exercise a very deep, almost subconscious level of control over what they're thinking and who they are in order to have a good time on this planet, because their random material comes up with all kinds of dreadful dreams that are really nightmares.
Right. Okay.
They're horrible, life-threatening nightmares.
Okay, and so how does this apply in this particular?
It applies because this dreaming situation that we're in is drawing from material that I have. But it's not material that the Phil Hamilton that goes through the world as an architect or a guy who cuts the grass. It's a level of material within me that's far, far deeper than that, that's manifesting the dream around me. And that, in fact, it's so deep that it's tapped into a collective place, a collection, a place that I share with you, and I share with you, and I share with people out there, and I share with everybody. It's the sonship. So in a sense, the sonship is the dreamer of this thing. And as long as I think I'm isolated from the sonship, as long as I think I'm separate from you, as Dr. McCoy, he has to get to a point in the Star Trek episode where he realizes that my conscious thoughts betray me. I think that I'm in control of my life and my decisions as a doctor, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the dreamer within him at the deepest, deepest level is a hopeless romantic, from another century. And so the dream he manifests, he becomes a hero in that, not as a doctor, not as a spaceman, not as a traveler, not as someone on the Enterprise. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And so we have the same problem here. Of if I think that Phil Hamilton is the one doing this dreaming, I've got to say, no, you got to go deeper. And that's what this whole course is about, is going deeper and not just having easy responses that, okay, I'm the dreamer. Oh, I did it. Oh, it's my fault. If it happened, it's my fault. That kind of thing.
Okay. All right, let's go with that. And paragraph 5. How willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? So right there, it says, how willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had?
Has ever had. That's a long time.
Yeah, and it does not say you have ever had. It says the world has ever had. Okay. Is it your wish to let no dream appear to be the cause of what it is you do? Then let us merely look upon the dream's beginning. For the part you see is but the second part, whose cause lies in the first. No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers his attack upon himself. No one believes there really was a time when he knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. He would have seen at once that these ideas are one illusion, too ridiculous for anything but to be laughed away. How serious they appear now to be now. And no one can remember when they would have met with laughter and with disbelief. We can remember this if we but look directly at their cause, and we will see the grounds for laughter, not a cause for fear.
So we're talking here about making this deep, deep, mysterious journey into, I'd say ourselves, but into the world. The world is a projection of myself, but I have to go into this world. Here it's saying it's transcendent of history and place. It's time and place. It's transcendent of that, or descendant into it.
Yeah, and it says we don't remember the time we made an attack upon himself, which was the original mad idea that there could be an other than the one who's becomes the dreamer. There's only one, and so you can't have an attack upon yourself. No one believes there really was a time when he knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. Yeah, I know I can't. I mean, I can't remember that. Yeah, it seems real. That's all I can say is it seems real. And so I haven't gotten to the laughter at all the things that seem terrifying to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, but let's, as it said earlier, the Course is, dreadfully accurate and consistent within itself. I mean, it won't let you off the hook at all. And it said, just because you call it God doesn't mean it's God. Mm-hmm. You know, just because I say I'm the dreamer and I pretend with a happy laugh, you know, I went through that thing. No, you can't just giggle away the nightmare that we are afraid of in our daily life. Mm-hmm. We can't just, it's not just a lighthearted, you know, I can't wait until the lightness of it all just bowls me over. You know, it's a journey. And this is the beauty of it, right? It's a journey into self, and I have all the tools necessary to find the happy laugh within myself, to find the dreamer of the dream, to find the one within myself. Why? Because the deeper I go down into myself, the more I'm connecting out with the whole world. Mm-hmm. Okay? The deeper I go into myself, I'm connecting out in the whole world. And the deeper I plunge into myself to reach out and touch the world, I can touch that place where I said, let's get out of here. Let's blow this popcorn stand called heaven. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's escape God. He's going to kill me. And I can go into that. It's still there. And then I have the ability within myself then, with the partnership of the Holy Spirit, to say, hey, where's the proof?
Right. Mm-hmm.
No, and all the proofs fall away. All the wars, all the tyrants, all the murders, all the bombs. Yeah. It all goes away. I know that you're going, oh, man, that's absolutely delusional. You can't talk about it until you get there, because it's a way of seeing the world.
Yeah,
it's a way of seeing the world.
It's a perceptual shift from the nightmare to the happy dream, at least to start, because I was going to say that, you know, it wouldn't just
Okay, paragraph
shatter.
6.
Yeah.
Let us return the dream he gave away unto the dreamer, who perceives the dream as separate from himself and done to him. Into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny, mad idea of which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. In his forgetting did the thought become a serious idea and possible of both accomplishment and real effects. Together, we can laugh them both away and understand that time cannot intrude upon eternity. It is a joke to think that time can come to circumvent eternity, which means there is no time. Eternal means non-ternal of time. There is no time. Mm. So it says, let's return the dream he gave away unto the dreamer. The dreamer gave the dream away.
Yeah.
The dreamer gave it to us, and we're in it, and we're running around in it. And we've got to find that dreamer. Say, you take this. You did this, you're doing this dream, let's take it back to you. And as we move that process to find who the dreamer is, I said, I'm not dreaming at night. I'm not dreaming that I'm an architect.
Well, and it gave us the function, and the function is forgiveness. And you're forgiving the dream.
Okay, how does forgiveness work as remembering or seeking the dreamer?
because forgiveness says that you recognize that at least you can play with the idea that it isn't real. And so you forgive that any of this could have had an effect on the whole. The whole that's eternal, without time, is not affected by a dream. It's just not affected. And so all the apparent horrors and everything else, no matter how much I have ideas about it and how much I think it's wrong and things like that, and I can definitely, I can do the good versus evil and the rights and the wrongs. That doesn't mean that I just say, hey, you can do anything. So you can kill, you can rape, you can do whatever you want. In other words, those are all what I would consider evil. And of those evil things, though, if I want to awaken from the dream, I would never, if this is just my logic about it, if I want to awaken from the dream, I would never do anything that would harm another or myself, because it would incite fear. And where fear is, love cannot abide. In other words, the remembrance of love cannot be, which is true forgiveness. When true forgiveness lands on the mind, love and joy and peace is also returned to its natural inheritance of what is already there. So when people, as we would like to call Satanists or other types of beings that would say, you can do whatever you want here and everything else. Well, if you want to stay in a nightmare, you do whatever you want. But if you want to wake up, you do that which is going to perpetuate and extend love, not fear. And so so that's what I have to say about that particular piece. I don't know if I probably got off track with some stuff here. But
one thing is, and it's another piece that for me is important. A lot of times with A Course in Miracles, as broad and deep as it is, and as I said, with inner consistency and coherence, sometimes it seems like it's a thing apart, like it's talking about a different world of which I'm unaware, a different experience that I don't have. That, but I'd say that if we get into that word honesty, self-honesty, you find that, let's say, when you get the readout, like I've talked in the past about getting the lawyer logo on a piece of stationery in the mail, and that lawyer logo would send me into a kind of a panic or fear response, because I didn't have the money. It's a nested, and someone was out to get me, and even worse than all that, I always do the right thing, and here's somebody saying I'm not doing the right thing. All those things snowball into a very serious, not a laughing matter.
right.
No laughter here. We're not allowed to laugh about it. And I'm telling you, it doesn't help to just laugh about it. Okay?
Yeah.
The lawyer's still on me. The bank is still empty. So laughing about it doesn't fix it. But you can see that the remembering to forget, this is what it's talking about. This is one of these amazing sentence structures. Son of God remembered
Not to laugh.
He remembered, as though he had to remember it. Remember not to laugh in his forgetting. In other words, he manufactured
Forgetting.
his own forgetting.
Yes.
He manufactured his forgetting by remembering not to laugh. It's a sentence structure that tells you the Son of God was always at cause over this, and decided to block that causality from his consciousness.
Yes.
And call that forgetting, so that he could
Pretend
possible of both accomplishment and real effects. In order to have accomplishment and real effects, he had to forget that this was a game he made up. He had to forget that he was making up a game. That way, way, way back. Now, in that way, way back that we have, I have that. When the lawyer letter comes with a logo,
Yeah, we all have that we're all tied to the first remembering.
Right. Or if I see
or forgetting too.
if I see, serious fireworks in Iran and it disturbs me, or if I see, I don't know what, Putin and Xi Jinping marching arm in arm across Europe or something, whatever it is that I've got in my head as a nightmare or some sort of a problem, whatever it is, no matter what it is, personal or global, those are the accomplishment and real effects that I had to way back remember not to laugh. I had to say, this is serious. So whenever I say, this is serious business about Christian, it's serious.
Yes.
It's serious about my grandson. It's serious about cystic fibrosis. There's no laughing matter.
Right.
And so recognize that's a discovery of this moment. That's discovering this moment of forgetting, of remembering not to laugh.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I share the thoughts in A Course in Miracles, that when I think it's deadly serious, I'm just the Son of God deciding to take this place real, to make sin real.
Yeah, to forget that you are always one and you can never be separated. You cannot divide. You can't do mitosis.
But you see the beauty of it, our deep genetics, even at my level, even the little shadow self-dreamed thing that I am, gets a chance to share the first mad idea whenever I take things as deadly serious.
Right.
But I'm telling you, though, they don't go away by just pretending they're not deadly serious, because we're like, you don't want to be Bones McCoy getting run through with a javelin.
That's right.
Okay, paragraph 7.
Yes. A timelessness in which is time made real, a part of God that can attack itself, a separate brother as an enemy, a mind with a body, all are forms of circularity whose ending starts at its beginning, ending at its cause. The world you see depicts exactly what you thought you did, except that now you think that what you did is being done to you. The guilt for what you thought is being placed outside yourself. The guilt for what you thought is being placed outside yourself and on a guilty world that dreams your dreams and thinks your thoughts instead of you. It brings its vengeance, not your own. It keeps you narrowly confined within a body, which it punishes because of all the sinful things the body does within its dream. You have no power to make the body stop its evil deeds because you did not make it, and cannot control its actions, nor its purpose, nor its fate.
What do you think? I can launch off, and these are some heavy ideas.
I somehow in the last two, I guess the last sentence or the last two sentences, it keeps you narrowly confined within a body, which it punishes because of all the sinful things the body does within its dream. You have no power to make the body stop its evil deeds because you did not make it, and cannot control its actions, nor its purpose, nor its fate. So is that just the thought that I have, or is that the truth of the situation? I guess that sometimes it gives me the egoic idea and makes it in a true statement. Again,
Reality check. When we're talking about the Course in Miracles, and many times with these ambiguous sentence structures, or convoluted, apparently, or circular, it's because it is describing a circular idea in that I feel trapped in my body. I say my body.
Yes.
But I view it, when it gets sick, it's the brother attacking me. The sick body is part of the sonship attacking me.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So, so I'm willing to own it, and I'll say, yeah, I'm sick. Yeah, I got the flu. I got this. But I'm victimized by something. Am I victimized by myself? Did I get the flu? No, the damn body got the flu. I didn't get the flu. If it weren't for the damn body, right, I'd be up and about doing whatever I want to do. It's the body did it to me again.
Okay.
So the body victimizes me. That's what it's saying here.
Yes.
And that's the reality that we live in as entities that are dreamed by something. We gave it away. Now, the beautiful thing of this is, I got goosebumps when you're reading it, because there's this point in here where you go, I'll just put it in my own words, and we'll have to get into it. The dreamer is an expanded self. The expanded self being, I'm sitting here like this. The dreamer is not like Phil Hamilton, I'm dreaming you, I'm dreaming this house, I'm dreaming the foundation problems. I'm not doing this. I'm an element within this. But you and this house and the history of Abilene and the history of this house and all the smokers who lived here for 30 years and all the different aspects of the fragmented sonship that I've disowned, they're all guilty. I don't smoke for 30 years. I wouldn't do that. They did that. And every time I peel open a wall, I smell their cigarette smoke.
Yes.
So that's my expanded self. And so much of it I have disowned. That's the fragmentation. That's the son saying, I'm running away from the Father. And he began to splinter and splinter and splinter.
Fragments.
And so you're a splinter of me, and the smokers are a splinter of me, and the foundation problem is a splinter of me, and this lamp is a splinter of me. And that splintering goes on and on and on. No wonder I can't remember when I laughed, because the memory of my laughter at the beginning of all time, the memory of forgetting to laugh at the beginning of all time, is in all of that. That's my expanded me.
Right.
And what do you call it when you have a sense of that unity of myself with the other? What do we call that? Holy instant, miracle, holy relationship.
Yes.
That's that moment where the Holy Spirit comes in and drags your ass into that expanded self that you fragmented off and said, that's not me.
Right.
I was dead. I wasn't even born yet when that stuff happened.
Right.
So I've created time and space blocks to remembering when I made these decisions. And the only way to get that memory is through the Holy Spirit, which unifies all those across time and space. Say something. I'm just on a rant.
No. What I'm remembering is my first love, the guy I was engaged to, and then the wedding got canceled. I was engaged to him twice, at any rate. But so in my dream, I guess you could call it that, it's not, as you said, it's not really Joanne who's dreaming the dream. But as far as a way of remembering, this was the most bizarre thing. I guess I knew about mirror work, where you kind of talk to yourself and stuff like that. And after he said a month before we were going to get married, he couldn't do it. I felt absolutely crushed, broken. I'm in my early 20s. I am just a mess. I'm throwing up, having my first anxiety attacks and everything else. And I decided to sit down. And the only thing I could say to myself, or which was I was really saying to this ex, my ex, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. And the weirdest thing happened. As I kept saying it over and over and over again, it actually took me back sort of to the beginning of time, where I had the experience of when I first left. When I first said I wanted to do this, whatever this is, I had the sense, at first I thought I was saying, it took me all the way back to saying, please don't leave me, God, or please don't leave me, love, or whatever you wanted to call that. But I had a remembering of the beginning of it all. It was the most strange thing. And I realized that all abandonment issues, this was just a personal revelation, all abandonment issues are based on that first mad idea that I thought I left the one and only true love, which is God itself. And so somehow in this world, a real cry for help is answered. It was answered in that moment. Now, it didn't take away the pain of my particular situation.
In the same visualization, isn't that the one where you remembered being left by him as like a jailer?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, in other words, that primal memory somehow decayed into a more past life
Yeah.
regression.
So I know that the Course doesn't like to talk about past lives, but dreams within dreams within dreams is sort of what I consider past lives. They're all just different grooves on a record. It's a new song, but it's all still on the flat, and so you have a different story. And so, but it's still, you're still playing it out, and it's you or whatever that is. And I did. I had first the experience that he left me, and I feel like it was a plague. He was a guard, and they had put in all these people in quarantine, and I was a child that was only between like 7 and 8 years old. And we built this relationship. He loved it. I could tell through, he wanted to be able to let me go, but he couldn't do anything about it because for whatever reason, I don't really know. But I actually saw, and at some point, he never came back. I was just left there to die and to turn to bones. So I actually saw like these bones in a corner, just in a cell somewhere in Europe. That's the way it felt like, somewhere in Europe during a plague. And that somehow he was tied to that particular memory. But as I kept saying that particular mantra, please don't leave me, it took me to that particular memory. And then it took me to the memory of the first sense of abandonment. So all I can say is that if you've experienced abandonment, a lot of people have it for some reason at certain times in their lives, when things don't go your way, it feels like somebody, a parent, a friend, or somebody has abandoned you. It's, to me, I was able in that instant to have a recognition of the first sense of thinking I could abandon the one and only true love. Okay, that's all I can say about that.
No, that's excellent. I mean, I think it's really powerful, and it's no laughing matter.
No.
And what's interesting about it is that what makes it not a laughing matter is that you have two people who truly are separate, mm-hmm. and they have separated for the purpose of establishing pain, abandonment, disease, an uncontrollable circumstance, and victimization in the most pitiful way possible. Right. And that's why they split apart, was to create accomplishment and its real effects up there. It's like, and it's not anything to laugh about, and that's the reason for it, to create situations that are no laughing matter, my friends. This is the real deal. What we're doing here, mm-hmm. here in 3D,
yes, this
is real stuff, man.
Right.
And if somebody laughs about it, they're not paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
So it's beautiful that way, isn't it? But now what would change it is if I let's say occupied both of our chairs, and I'm talking to myself over there, and I'm mm-hmm. taking a wig, and I'm putting a wig on myself over here, or a beard on myself over there, and I'm going back and forth talking to myself, mm-hmm. it starts to look like a comedy routine.
Right, it does.
Or like the Woody Allen movie, what was that one called? Where he
Melinda.
Melinda, where that's one movie is expressed one way. I haven't seen it. Expressed one way.
It's a tragedy, and the other one's a comedy.
Right, but same lines are delivered in each one.
Yes, it is. It's actually a very great concept. I actually enjoyed it, at any rate. To look at things from one side, that comedy is like so close to tragedy, and tragedy is so close to comedy. Yeah, he delivered the same characters delivered the same lines, but with an entirely different tonality and everything. Mm-hmm. One is just like completely disastrous, and the other one is completely comedic.
Okay, there we go. That's the deal.
Yeah.
So paragraph 8?
Yeah, let's go on.
The world but demonstrates an ancient truth. You will believe that others do to you exactly what you think you did to them. But once deluded into blaming them, you will not see the cause of what they do, because you want the guilt to rest on them. How childish is the petulant device to keep your innocence by pushing guilt outside yourself, but never letting go. It is not easy to perceive the jest When all around you do your eyes behold its heavy consequences, but without their trifling cause. Without the cause do its effects seem serious and sad indeed. Yet they but follow, and it is their cause that follows nothing, and is but a jest. Okay, that last line, maybe say something. And it is their cause that follows nothing, and is but a jest.
Well, the thing of it is that, for me, so the cause effect thing has always had some confusing effects on me, and that is I'm not sure in this particular last sentence it is their cause that follows nothing, and is but a jest. I always lose who the pronoun is or what the pronoun is. It is not easy to perceive the jest when all around you do your eyes behold its heavy consequences, but without their trifling cause.
The petulant device to keep your innocence by pushing guilt outside yourself and never letting go. You can't see the joke when all around you see the consequences of what you've decided, of pushing your guilt outside of you. Let's say in the case of the guy, and you're the child in a jail cell or something, or in a cell, and you're a plague. You're innocent.
Quarantine. Yeah. I'm considered innocent.
In fact, the beauty of that one is you're both innocent.
Yeah.
He's a victim of circumstances. You're a victim of circumstances, and you got nothing but tragedy. And in that tragedy, one of them is fully and totally abandoned, and the other one fully and totally does the abandoning. And that's exactly what happened in this particular engagement in this lifetime.
Yes, right.
It also happened right before we met with that other guy.
Yeah.
So this is a deep imprint to understand something that repeats like echoes from the past.
Right. I would say that it's attempting in my dreamscape, or whatever you want to call that, this sequence of things where you recognize that the first abandonment was the mad idea that I could actually be abandoned. Okay? Well,
I projected onto God that he abandoned me when I was the one that ran away from home.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So if I could truly remember that and embrace it, then this world would not seem so frightening. It wouldn't be. And that's the whole idea to me of the Course, is that it gives us the clues that said, yes, because you believe that you are the dreamer, that I am the cause and not the effects of this dream world. I think that I am the cause of what I do and things like that. Am I doing that correctly? I am the cause, like as in Joanne is the cause?
Yeah, well, okay, this is the way I understand it, because it does get complex, because obviously you didn't cause Ukraine or Putin.
Right.
You didn't cause that guy to leave you. You didn't really cause those things. You really didn't sit down on a piece of paper and said, watch me,
Yeah, right.
in the same way that I can go cut the grass. You didn't do it in that way. So that the trick or the technique or the modality that the Course recommends, which is, I did it. I'm responsible for it. I did the war in Ukraine all by myself. I did it. I did that abandonment issue. I created all those difficulties. I created all those caves with all those starving children in them, or whatever nightmare you want to choose. It's a sort of a mental process, because obviously I create cognitive dissonance. Let's take one, okay? Let's take, give me a problem. Okay.
The war in Ukraine. I mean, you're not there. You're not.
No, I'm gonna use one that's even more personal. My grandson has a diagnosis of cystic fibrosis.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I didn't do it.
Right.
It's him. His parents are the ones with the issue. I don't have the issue. They got the issue. I didn't do it. I didn't have anything to do with it. Now, I can sit around and dream up ways that they're at fault, or that the child's at fault, or the environment is at fault, or something is at fault. But really, it's just over yonder, and I don't have anything to do with it. That is a projection of helplessness and guilt at the hands of the system. It's a projection from me over onto my grandson. Mm-hmm. That's what it's there. That's why he came. He came to bear that projection. Okay? This is a game we play ourselves because we're doing A Course in Miracles. And I say, I did that.
Okay.
I invented that. Now, obviously, I set it up so that I can't see the breadcrumbs that lead there, mm-hmm. but I accept it. And now, because there are no breadcrumbs connecting me with any of that, I only have one choice: form a relationship with either Jesus to take his fleshy palm and be led through the clouds into the light of truth, or to follow the Holy Spirit in the same manner towards the light of truth. That's all we got. That's the choice we have. So the question is this. It said at the beginning, do you want to get out of the dream?
Right.
Do you want to get out of the dream?
That's the question. And I can feel it's like, well, what then? That's what happens. It's like, if I get out of the dream.
But he's really got cystic fibrosis.
I know.
That's pretty cold-blooded.
I know.
What are you, some sort of cold-blooded asshole? You're supposed to read up on this stuff and get freaked. You're supposed to feel upset somehow.
Right,
Everybody should be upset, shouldn't they? Mm-hmm. Form a group and fight it back. Find the source of this thing and deal with it. That's what we go through in our mind to make it real, and to say that I've figured this thing out and God can't do one damn thing about it because he's doing it to me.
Right.
God is subjecting me to these nightmares. But in the Course, you say, I did it. Mm-hmm. Ain't no breadcrumbs. The birds ate them all. I can't get back to the cottage. I can't get out of the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm stuck in the woods.
Uh-huh.
And so then I say, Holy Spirit, I think I went out of this dream, but I don't know, man. There's some stuff about that cystic fibrosis that, it answers some stuff for me. It tells me that the system sucks, and it tells me that the healthcare system sucks, and it answers some stuff. I kind of don't want to lose that.
Right. Now that's what we need to do.
That's called self-honesty.
And awareness.
So do you want your grandson to suffer because of your dumb shit need to be entertained by illness and disease or wars? Mm-hmm. Get over it. That's what the Course is saying. Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over the need to have other people suffer and die and get sick and waste away so that you can feel good about yourself somehow.
Right.
Get over it.
Yes.
And that's a great moment of humility and surrender. Yes. Surrender to Jesus, surrender to the Holy Spirit. I don't mean to drag this in, but that's where it goes. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think that's very accurate. Yeah. I do.
Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 9?
Yeah, 9. In gentle laughter does the Holy Spirit perceive the cause and looks not to effects. How else could he correct your error, who have overlooked the cause entirely? He bids you bring each terrible effect to him, that you may look together on its foolish cause and laugh with him a while. You judge effects, but he has judged their cause, and by his judgment are effects removed. Perhaps you come in tears, but hear him say, My brother, Holy Son of God, behold your idle dream, in which this could occur. And you will leave the holy instant with your laughter, and your brother's joined with his.
Get over it, man. Get over it.
Right.
There's better ways to have fun than to watch people suffer and die, or to have tyrannical dictators rampant all over the earth. And it doesn't mean you got to solve them. It means you solve them now with that relationship.
The Holy Spirit has judged the cause. We judge their effects.
Yeah, that's all we got. That's all we got are effects.
And you're an effect, and I'm an effect, and everything's an effect and an effect. But he has judged their cause. So again, the cause is the dreamer. But again, you're
cause is the mad idea.
Okay, well, that's what I mean.
No, but the thing is, we got to realize that the dreamer
Came out of the mad idea.
came out of the mad idea.
Yes. So the way I kind of look at it is that the Son of God, which knows his Father completely, is at one with him, had the mad idea. And isn't it? It's just kind of interesting that our own brain is split. But it ended up as a split mind, where a part of it could pretend that it isn't one with its Father anymore. And in that forgetting, fear came in, and all the guilt and everything else around it. So that is the dreamer of the dream. It's the Son of God with the split mind, where, it's like one veil comes down here, and this side knows all the light, and this side over here only knows shadows, And so, like our own, there's a lot of symbolic metaphor in the dream. The fact that we have a brain that is also split, that's only connected by, what's that, something?
Corpus callosum.
The corpus callosum. And one side, as in what was that documentary about the woman who had the stroke and only her left or her right stayed on?
Yeah, Stroke of Insight with Jill Bolte Taylor, Stroke of Insight. I've linked it before. Beautiful. Yes. If you've never seen it, you got to see it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's pretty old, 15 years, 20 years old.
But in that place, she lost one half of the function of her brain, and
her left brain function
and yet she felt at one with everything.
That's because the right brain function overwhelmed the left brain function.
Right. So we have a similar thing that goes on with even the construction of the body that has a split brain, where if one side goes off, the logic, the thing that can put things together, the things that can remember symbols like numbers and everything else, because she lost the ability to recognize all symbols. It started to just fade, and she barely got to the phone number that she could dial before it completely went. And then she was only in a place where she was actually in a place of love and only unity all about her.
Yeah, and yet she was about to die.
Yeah, and yet she was about to die. So it's an interesting thing that this world has a lot of symbology that ties to the original idea of a split mind. And that's the only way I know how to look at it. Where the sonship that is completely at one with the Father, managed to, with that mad idea, do a part of it will forget, and that one becomes shadows, and the other part always remembers God. And that's where we're trying to break down that veil by giving the Holy Spirit a chance, by letting go of our judgments on what we think needs to happen, the judgments that we have upon what we call other, so that the Holy Spirit can enter in to that and show us another way.
But you opened up an issue that I actually wanted to get into a little bit, which is a dream. A course isn't really fond of this, even though it's basically a psychological type document, because of Helen Schuchman, Bill Tedford, School of Psychology, whatever. A dream, a lot of times in religious traditions, or even sometimes in the course, just it doesn't give much relevance to dreams, even though Carl Jung based most of his psychological technique on, a lot of it on dream and dream interpretation and the validity of a dream as a projection of things out of me, so that my dreaming life tells me things that I'm not prepared or that I don't have the vocabulary to understand right now within myself. As an example, my brother was telling me about a dream that he had where he woke up, anyway, long story short, covered with blood. And it was this, and he had gone into his family of origin house, and he ends up blacking out and being covered with blood. Well, in this world, you want to say, wow, that's violent, that's terrible, that's all kinds of things. Well, and there's some truth to that. If the dream is about him coming into a new way of being, a new self-understanding because of his age and, the seasons of life or whatever you want to call it, victories that he's had at work and whatnot, that he has a certain emboldening or strengthening or the bravery to confront a more authentic sense of who he is. And it's going to look like a bloodbath sometimes in the dream. It's not necessarily like happy birds rising to the sky. It can be blood, because blood is passion, and it's serious, and it's cutting into, and it's, the life essence, the blood. And so a dream isn't just empty chatter. A dream, a nighttime dream, is trying to tell me about things that I don't necessarily want to know about myself, but in a way need to know, want to know, but I don't have the words for it yet.
Right, which is why this world, there's a whole lesson about all things are the echoes of the voice for God. So it is talking to us, whether it's the shape of the brain and everything else, or,
the illusion out here, the dreaming that someone is doing, is informing me of important information to go forward. It's not just nothing. It's not like it's empty chatter from some lunatic.
Right. And it's all designed really to wake us up if we're paying attention.
Is that it?
No.
Okay.
I think so.
Chapter 10?
Paragraph 10.
Paragraph 10. The secret of salvation is but this, that you are doing this unto yourself. No matter what the form of the attack, this is still true. Whoever takes the role of enemy and of attacker, still is this the truth. Whatever seems to be the cause of any pain and suffering you feel, still this is true. For you would not react at all to figures in a dream. You knew that you were dreaming. Let them be as hateful and as vicious as they may, they could have no effect on you unless you failed to recognize it is your dream. Let's not take this lightly. Let's remember the Star Trek episode. Just because I call myself the dreamer and that I did this doesn't get me through the tragedies of my life. Okay. This is a deep quest for authenticity, for the genuine experience that I have underneath this layer and this layer and this layer. There's a spiritual journey into the self, holding the hand of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And don't take it lightly. It's not like, hey, good news, Joanna, we're doing it. Ha, happy laughter. I can't be affected by all that stuff anymore because I read it here.
Because you have to recognize the voice that would say that. That would be the ego saying it.
Right, exactly.
And it's not the truth. So
the ego that speaks is an aspect of the dream, nothing else.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Okay, 11.
Okay, 11. The single lesson learned will set you free from suffering, whatever form it takes. The Holy Spirit will repeat this one inclusive lesson of deliverance until it has been learned, regardless of the form of suffering that brings you pain. Whatever hurt you bring to Him, He will make answer with this very simple truth. For this one answer takes away the cause of every form of sorrow and of pain. The form affects His answer not at all, for He would teach you but the single cause of all of them, no matter what their form, and you will understand that miracles reflect this simple statement. I have done this thing, and this I would undo.
Okay, so, and you will understand that miracles reflect the simple statement. I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. You skipped a couple of objects. You kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that it got out there.
No. I want to be able to say it correctly.
It's a critical. I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. That's taking total responsibility as an aspect. Phil Hamilton, a shadow, a dreamed figure, a fictional self. With no agency and no power to almost do anything. I'm the butt of a big joke called The Life of Phil, let's say. I say, I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. I have chosen the journey of 1,000 miles, and the first step is fill in the blanks.
The first step is I have done this thing, and this is what I would undo.
Okay, then what's the second step? Partnership with the Holy Spirit.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I can't go anywhere. That dream figure, you can I can do my Jungian dream interpretation.
No, yes, absolutely.
I can do stream of consciousness writing, which I've done.
Yes.
I've done dream interpretation.
Well, as soon as I say, and I was going to say that, and as soon as I say, and it is this I would undo, I has to be like united with the one large I, I would undo, because really the small I, the I that just believes that I am the cause of and not an effect of the dreamer, doesn't know how to undo that. So
this statement, I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. I would say it's the task set for me to meet the great I am.
Yes.
And not the I am that I stole.
Yeah.
I have stolen one. I say, I'm this, I'm that.
Yes.
I do this, I do that.
Yes.
That's all fiction.
Right.
But I stole that I am. That's my privilege. And just the fact that I can say I did this and I did that as a symbol of agency, I'm setting myself a task of meeting the I here.
Yes. And it first gave me, the action. It's like whatever hurt you bring to him. So I'm to bring my hurts to him, who will make answer with this very simple truth. So actually, the I is I'm actually first bringing my hurts that I think are real to him. And in that, I think that the recognition of I have done this thing and it is this I would undo come to the mind. Because until I turn it over to the Holy Spirit, I don't know that I can come to, Joanne can't come to that conclusion and wouldn't know, like, and this I, this I would undo, once I recognize I am the dreamer of the dream. Because who's the dreamer of the dream?
Right.
The whole sonship. Again, we're getting like, is it Joanne who's the dreamer of the dream? Or is it the whole sonship that is a dream of the dream? And yet,
I have a portion of that whole sonship.
Yeah. The I that says Joanne is connected to the I that is the one and only I am. And so,
and let's not be too enthused, or I think it's pretty funny, actually. The Holy Spirit will repeat this one inclusive lesson of deliverance until it has been learned.
yes.
So you go to the Holy Spirit and you go, all right, man, this guy is abusing me. He's abusing me. I'm putting him on the altar. Fix it for me. And the Holy Spirit goes, you did it. And so you go back and you go, the guy is still wailing on me, still wailing on me. And you go, here he is again. You're not fixing it.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, this guy is abusing me. And then he goes, all right. You go back. You say, 2 times I've been to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit says, you did it. And you go, wait a second. Holy Spirit's not picking this up. This guy over there is abusing me. When am I going to see happy witnesses, my friend? When are we going to get the happiness go on here?
Yeah.
This guy keeps abusing me. And he goes, you did it. This will go on 10 million times. Do you understand?
Yes,
Until you go, I did it.
Yeah.
Until you go, I did it. I want to be free of this. I did it. I want to be free of this. I did it. I want to be free of this. You have to get to where you say, that guy over there, I did him. He did. I'm that guy. I am that guy. You have to get to a point to where you don't let anything victimize you at any level.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't mean you chum up with everything, right?
No, and it doesn't mean you don't leave.
Right, you got to leave.
It's like,
But the bottom line, the butt of the punchline of everyone is this single lesson learned.
right.
You did it. That's
But
the single lesson learned.
but first, in my humble way, I must hand it over to him who knows that everyone is like the rest. All the sufferings, they're all the same. I must bring it to him. I must, and then I know you just did the whole thing. And in that, I have to want to see it differently. I mean, it can't just be, give me the happy dream here. It's like I have to see what it's going to start to reflect.
Well,
back.
ultimately, if you're really honest with yourself, you get to a point, we've discussed this before.
Yeah.
Course in Miracles, bullshit.
I got to leave this guy.
Bullshit. This is stupid. This Holy Spirit thing is ridiculous.
I know, but the funny thing is that, I had, an experience like that in the last relationship and everything else. And I kept thinking I had to just, get rid of my ego so that, this will work out. I'll purify more and it will get better and better and better. And it kept showing up until I just said, no, I don't want to suffer anymore. No. And the Holy Spirit goes, right on. We didn't want you to suffer either. It's like, oh, it was that easy? I just had to say I don't want to suffer anymore. They say that if once you say I don't want to be sick,
right,
then you won't get sick. But you have to really mean it.
Yeah, okay. You gotta want to mean it.
You gotta want to mean it. Anyway.
So when a person's hacking and sneezing next to you, you go, laugh. It's a happy laughter. It's meaningless. This is a dream.
I have pneumonia.
I have pneumonia. Achoo.
I know.
Right. Okay. Paragraph 12. All right. Happy laughter. Bring then all forms of suffering to him who knows that every one is like the rest. He sees no differences where none exists, and he will teach you how each one is caused. None has a different cause from all the rest, and all of them are easily undone by but a single lesson truly learned. Salvation is a secret you have kept but from yourself. The universe proclaims it. So, yet to its witnesses you pay no heed at all, for they attest the thing you do not want to know. They seem to keep it secret from you, yet you need but learn you chose but not to listen, not to see. So all things are echoes of the voice for God. That guy over there is victimizing me, that situation is victimizing me, that sickness is victimizing me, that those unsavory people over there, I don't want to have anything to do with those unsavory situations. I did it. And that's the secret. That's the big secret.
Yeah, it's to claim it first.
Obviously,
yeah.
I don't have a sense of that, all that stuff, or it wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it needs that reinterpretation. I mean, this is what Jiminy Christmas, it's the work. So rather than just go beat that dead horse or that living horse, it's saying, it's saying that I don't notice that the universe is singing to me. You did this. Now, why don't I see it? Because I refuse to see the thing that I'm looking at in me. I refuse to notice that the thing I'm looking at is actually in me. Whether that's a Donald Trump or a Bill Gates or a noisy neighbor upstairs or downstairs or a rotting foundation or a bad knee. Whatever it is that has come to abuse me, that has come to victimize me, of course I don't see that I did it. That's why it exists.
That's right. And again, who's the I that did it?
That's what we're on the quest to find out.
Yes. Yeah. That's all I wanted to get back to. That we need to figure out. To enter into that partnership with the Holy Spirit so that it becomes apparent. Paragraph 13. How differently will you perceive the world when this is recognized? When you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of it. Its innocence does not demand your guilt, nor does your guiltlessness rest on its sins. This is the obvious, a secret kept from no one but yourself. And it is this that has maintained you separate from the world and kept your brother separate from you. Now need you but to learn that both of you are innocent or guilty. The one thing that is impossible is that you be unlike each other, that they both be true. This is the only secret yet to learn, and it will be no secret you are healed.
We unpacked that really kind of elaborately earlier today. So what do you want to cover that?
Well, first of all, I wanted to go back to the beginning. When you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of it. And so, I don't think that my guilt is laid out all over the world, but guilt happened at the beginning with the mad idea. The guilt entered. And being that we are all one with the sonship, the Son of God, that mad idea is in our own, you might want to call it sort of our inheritance.
But the way that I feel
idea.
the guilt, I mentioned that like the forgetting to laugh as being the memory, that my over-seriousness, or my dreadful seriousness in terrible situations, that's a memory of that first moment when I decided not to laugh. That's a memory of that, right? It's a recollection. And this thing that you're talking about here about the guilt is I see a world that needs change all around me. It includes my own body, my mind, relationships, everything. And we just go on and on. So much of it needs change, but it's unchangeable. I can't change it. It's stuck. It is what it is. That's called sin. And guilt is my willingness to make that sin real. That's what it is.
Right.
And so, yes, it is all over the world. It's all over the world. I don't have to go back in time to the mad idea. I can go right now to circumstances in whether it's geopolitics or it's health or it's historical civil war with guys getting their chest blown open with golf ball-sized musket
Or the situation
fire.
with your son.
Yeah. I can't change it. I can't handle it. I can't. That is sin.
Yeah.
And my willingness to say, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's guilt. In other words, I'm not saying, somewhere there's a happy laugh in there. Somewhere. I'm not getting it.
Yes.
But somewhere there's a happy laugh. And I have to be continuously putting that as almost a mantra, where you do the beads 1,008 times a day or something like that. You have to be putting that on the altar continuously over and over and over again. If that's what your career choice is just to put your tragedies on the altar and say, rethink this, I did it, show me the happy laugh.
I mean, that quote that it gave us, I have done this.
I have done
is
this.
I would undo, is a mantra to understand. I would say that's true.
So what else? When we went...
the part that was, it was the end, the one thing that is impossible is that you be unlike each other, that they both be true. I had trouble with, they're like two different sentences. But it's just that, first it said, now need but you learn that both of you are innocent or guilty. So if I see my brother as guilty.
Any situation.
It
could be a herd of buffalo that want to trample my house. It could be anything.
Yeah, anything. Then if there's guilt, then everything's guilty. And if there's innocence, all things are innocent. There's no way to leave the other one out.
Yeah, there's no way for me to be innocent. There's no way for the buffalo to run over my property and destroy everything and that I'm somehow an innocent bystander. No, I'm as guilty as a buffalo.
Yeah. So this is the only secret yet to learn, and it will be no secret you are healed. So that was the main piece that I, once innocence is seen in myself or in the other, it is seen everywhere. And once everything is guilty, once one thing is guilty, its guilt is laid on everything.
Now, the one thing is, it's a complicated sentence structure. The one thing that is impossible is that you be unlike each other, that they both be true. Now, let's take that situation of that heinous individual that's been victimizing me.
Okay.
Or that group, whatever. They've been victimizing me. I'm okay. I didn't do anything wrong. They're nothing but problems. That's the problem. Fair enough. They're guilty. I'm guilty. We have to be the same.
Right.
Fair enough. I'm innocent. Oh, okay, I'm innocent. Well, then that means they're innocent. We have to understand that that's the nature of this reality and that you have to get past, and that's what this is saying. It is the one thing that is impossible, what is impossible, is that the fact that I'm unlike them makes it true. In other words, somebody's at fault here.
Right.
Somebody's at fault and somebody's innocent. That's how we couch everything.
Right. Someone's guilty when someone's innocent.
And so when I've got that guilty person on that situation over there, and I've got my guilt, let's say, projected onto them so that I can be innocent, I have to realize that is not the truth. There's no truth possible if I'm different than them.
Exactly.
If I'm looking at people that have lunatic, clueless, weirdo responses to situations in life, and I go, me? I'm a paragon of reason and logic. I'm not that. It's not the point. I'm not the judge. As soon as I notice that they're lunatics, fringe, crazies, I have to say, to the extent that that's not just absolutely A-okay with me and that they're guilty of being lunatics, I'm guilty as well.
Right.
We demand that one be guilty and one be innocent.
Yes.
That's what's demanded here, and that's
Right.
what it's saying.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Right.
Like the punchline, the joke punchline of this entire section, which is, yeah, you got all these secrets you're keeping, but when you're healed, in other words, when you have the miracle, when you touch the holy instant, when you have the holy relationship, when you have that partnership with the Holy Spirit that makes things snap into focus, no secrets.
No,
But until then, lots of secrets.
Yeah.
Until then.
Yeah. Until you're healed.
Yeah, until you're healed.
Right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us again. Like and subscribe. That's all I can say. Thumbs up.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone.